Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to do a full face of drugstore products. So I wanted to do mostly e.l.f. and Wet n Wild because I previously purchased a bunch of new products from both of those brands, so I definitely wanted to try those out. This is mostly pretty much 99% all e.l.f. and Wet n Wild products, so I'm really excited to try the new products. Some of them are old favorites that I always repurchase, so let's get into it. First, I'm going to prime my face using the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. Now, they have multiple different versions of this. I know they have a pore one and a couple of different other ones, but this is the one I have. It's pretty thick. It's actually quite thick, so it adds a real layer to the skin. But I also want to go in with my new e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. So this is supposed to obviously decrease the appearance of pores, so I want to just put that in my T-zone. I have pretty large pores around my nose and my chin, but right here pretty much is where I have the largest pores, so I want to kind of get rid of those. So it looks like it did decrease the appearance, not too much, but you can still tell the difference. My face is a mess right now, as you can see. I don't know what's going on, but I have milia on my face, on my cheekbones, and on my eyes, so I tend to mess with those a little bit, which I know you really shouldn't, but I'm trying to find a good exfoliant that helps get rid of those. They're diminishing a little bit, but not too much, so I haven't seen too much progress, so I'm going to keep trying different things and see what works out. So next I'm going to go in with foundation. So I am using the Wet n Wild Photo Focused foundation. I have two shades in Nude Ivory and Soft Beige. I am going to mix those together. The only thing I don't like about this foundation is the applicator. It's this weird plastic wand, which makes it hard to apply. So I kind of just add it to my hand and then go in with a sponge. And I'm going to do one side at a time, and I'm actually using an e.l.f. sponge. See, like you can see there, like it covered pretty well my spots. And this foundation is a little over $6, so that's really all you can ask for. So I keep repurchasing this. I repurchased this multiple times, and I will keep repurchasing it. Next, I'm going to go in with concealer. Now, I do have an e.l.f. concealer. This is the 16-Hour Camo Concealer, but this shade is way too light for me. I think I bought this from Ulta online without even looking at it, and it's way too light, so I can't use this right now. So I'm going to actually mix two Wet n Wild concealers. This is the Photo Focus concealer. I have two shades in light medium beige and light ivory. So what I'm going to do is put the darker part below and then go in with the nude ivory a little bit over it. And I'm going to blend that in with the sponge again. I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the lighter shade. As I've spoken about before, my dark circles are terrible, and I cannot seem to find anything that completely covers them. So I'm going to set the face. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder, and I just recently purchased this, so I've never tried it. So I'm going to set my under eyes using an e.l.f. small tapered brush. Yeah, that like completely blurred my skin. I'm gonna go in and set the rest of my face. And I'm going to use an e.l.f. pointed powder brush. I use this brush for so many different things. I use it for powder, and I use it for bronzer. I more so use it for bronzer because it's pointed, so it's really nice to get in the cheek area. So I like it for that, but it can be really used for any powder product. So that powder is definitely mattifying for sure. Like I look completely matte. There's no shine anywhere, which I actually prefer. I sometimes go for a dewy look, but most of the time I do set my entire face and I try to keep it more matte. But I like how this powder looks. Again, this is the first time I've used it, so I would have to try it out a couple more times to see how I really like it, but so far I like it a lot. So I'm going to go in and do my brows. I'm going to do that off camera, but I am using an e.l.f. product. This is the Lock On Liner and Brow Cream. I have the shade medium brown, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, so brows are done. I just tried going with the light hand. I just wanted to fill them in a little bit. I'm not going too crazy. I don't want them super, super defined, but I wanted to add something to fill them in. So now I'm going to continue with bronzer, and this is the e.l.f. Primer Infused bronzer in Forever Sun-Kissed. So that's the shade right there. It's perfect for my skin tone since I'm pretty fair. I do get tan, but since I'm not really going outside, I'm not getting much sun, so I'm really fair right now. So this is perfect for me, and I am using an e.l.f. blending brush, which I love this for contouring because it fits perfectly in my cheek. And this brush would actually be perfect for cream bronzers. I've only used it for that a couple times, but I did just purchase another one during the VIB sale, so I will have to try it out then. So that just added a little color to my skin. Actually, the blush I'm going in with is that same line, the Primer Infused line, and this is the blush in Always Cheeky, which I used this blush in a recent video. I think that was the Easter video, if I'm not mistaken, because it's the perfect spring peach. And I really, really like this blush, so I'm going to use the e.l.f. highlighting brush, actually. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to use the Flawless Face Brush. I cannot talk today. This is a little bit more dense. I use this for bronzer as well, but this is definitely denser than the pointed powder brush. You could even see when I move the bristles that that's a lot more densely packed than this one is. So that's why this one is definitely better for powdering and setting your face, where this is better for bronzer. You can probably use this for foundation as well, but I've never tried that. I've never used it as a blush brush before, but I'm going to try that today. And my mom always said I always need to wear blush. If I don't wear anything else, it's gotta be blush. And it actually is right for me, especially my skin tone. I have a little bit of an off skin tone, so if I don't put on blush, I kind of look like a zombie. So I have to always wear blush. It's really, really light. You can barely even get the hint of it, but I think it's perfect. So I'm going to leave it like that. Next, I'm going to go in with a highlight, and I do not have an e.l.f. highlighter, so I am using the Wet n Wild Highlighting Gold Bar, which is right here, and I have the shade Holly Goldhead, and I love this highlighter. I've used it for such a long time. So I'm going to go in with that e.l.f. highlighting brush, and I don't want to do too much highlight, but I'm just going to sweep it on the cheek, especially that I have my two blemishes on that side. I don't want to go too heavy with it, but I just really like how this looks. It's very sun-kissed. I don't wear a lot of gold highlighters, but I think this is a really nice one. Now this brush is supposed to be meant for highlight, but I actually don't like it as much as a highlighter. I think it's too big for a highlighting brush. I use this to normally set my under eyes, but I do go between this one and the small tapered brush that I did use in today's video. So this is the first time I've actually used it as a highlighting brush. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it still worked out pretty well applying the highlight. Now we're gonna move on to my eyes, and this is a really exciting new purchase for me. These are the new e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. I got 3 of them. Got Hot Jalapeno, which is the green, Rose Water, which is this one right here, and then Berry Bad, which is the berry tones. So I'm going to use both Berry Bad and Rose Water. Let's see, first I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer on my eyelids. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the setting powder just to set my eyelids. I don't do this all the time. Sometimes I do, but I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. So let's start with the Berry Bad palette, and I'm going to go in with the Left Matte shade, and I'm going to use the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. I love e.l.f. eye brushes too. These are some of my favorite brushes. They blend the product seamlessly, and again, they're extremely affordable. I love e.l.f.'s entire line. I mean, all of these brushes that I'm using right now, they're all e.l.f. brushes, and I use these on a daily basis. It's not just for today's video. I mean, the brushes I would use to set my under eyes, I 100% use those every day. I don't use any other brushes to set my under eyes. And the 2 powder brushes, I use those every day. And the eye brushes I go back and forth with. I have so many eye brushes, so I do tend to switch it up a little bit, but I just recently washed all my brushes too, so that was perfect timing, so I can pull out all my e.l.f. ones. I really, really like that shade. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with that deeper shade, that deeper matte in the Berry Bad palette, this one. And I'm gonna go in with a different blending brush. Well, this is the e.l.f. Crease brush. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to use that and put that in the outer V of my eye. I love berry tone shades. I think they are beautiful for green eyes, so I always gravitate towards those. And I said in one of my recent videos that the Give It To Me Straight palette by ColourPop is one of my favorite berry palettes, but I am in love with this palette, so this could be replacing it. They have different shades, definitely. The Give It To Me Straight palette is a little more purple toned than berry. They're a little bit more mauve-y than this berry, but both of them are beautiful. And then I'm gonna go in actually with the Rose Water palette now, and I'm gonna go in with this dark shade. No, I changed my mind. I'm going to do one other thing first, and I'm going to use this shimmer, and I'm going to put that all over my lid. And I think that will work really well with the other shades in the Very Bad palette. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that. And then I'm going to go back in to that darker berry shade with that same brush that I used. And I'm just going to deepen it up a little bit. You don't get too much color payoff with these. I mean, I'm not super digging into the shadows, but I'm giving it a serious tap. So I went a little overboard on this eye. So I'm going to blend that a little bit with the lighter shade that I used in the beginning, and I'm going to blend that out. Okay, I think that looks much better. And next I'm going to go in with the lightest shade in the Very Bad palette. I'm gonna first see how it looks with this e.l.f. flat brush. And I'm not going to wet it. I want to see how it looks right from the start. And I'm just going to put that in the inner portion of my lid. Now it's going over the other shadow, so you're not going to be able to get it as much, but you can still see the difference between those two eyes. You can still see that I put it down, which is good. I was concerned if you wouldn't be able to see it over that darker shade, but that's actually really pretty. I'm gonna sweep it up a little bit, and then I'm going to stick a little bit in my inner corner. It is pretty glittery, so don't want to get it too much in my eye. And sweep it under the eye a little bit. I'm going to use the darkest shade in the Very Bad palette, and I'm actually going to use that flat brush again. I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm going to use that to line my upper lashes. And I actually rarely go in with powder liner. It's a lot softer than using a real liner. Okay, I'm actually gonna run that in my lower lash line really close to my lashes. I don't know how people can do their lower lash line looking straight on. I can't do it. I feel like I can't see what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm gonna poke myself in the eye, which I just did. I feel like I always have to look down, do my crazy eyes, and then I'm gonna connect the two. I'm gonna go in with this little crease brush. This is the Detail crease brush, and I'm going to use that darker berry shade back to this one, and I'm going to sweep that underneath my eyes, cross my lower lash line, just underneath that darkest shade. Then using that same brush, I'm going to go into the lighter shade of Very Bad, pretty much repeating the steps that I did on the top lid, on the bottom. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. I really like how that looks, and you can really deepen that up a lot with this darker shade in the Rosewater palette. I like both of these palettes a lot. The shadows performed really, really nicely. I'm definitely going to be using these multiple times. You can do so many different looks with both of these, and I'm really excited to use the other shimmers in here. And of course, the Hot Jalapeno palette. I will use this in a future video. I'm really excited to try this. I love green eyeshadow. I love colorful eyeshadows in general, but I think green eyeshadows look really good with my green eyes as well. So this is where we're cheating a little bit. I don't have an e.l.f. or Wet n Wild mascara, so I'm using the Covergirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara, which is still drugstore, so it's not super cheating. It's just not e.l.f. and Wet n Wild. So I'm going to throw on some mascara and then I'll be right back. Okay, so mascara is on, and next we're going to do the lips. Wipe off the foundation. And I don't have a lip liner, but I don't use lip liners all the time, so that's not really too bad for me. So I'm using the e.l.f. lip lacquer, which I actually just got in my recent purchase. So this is in the shade Natural. It's not really peachy, it's a little yellowy toned, more of a yellow neutral. So we'll see how this looks. I haven't tried this out yet. So there's that. I like how it looks. It's a very thin formula. You can't really see, but you can kind of see my lips through it because of how light the formula is, how thin the formula is. It's pretty liquidy. It has a really nice shine though, and like I said, I haven't worn this, so I don't really know how it wears, but I liked how it applied. It's not sticky at all, which I really like because I really don't like when lip products are sticky. So we'll see how long it wears and how I like it. I don't have a setting spray either, but I'm not going anywhere and I don't need my makeup to last all day, so I'm just skipping that step. It's not a big deal. So that completes this look. I think it turned out really, really nice. I like all the products I use, and like I said, a lot of these products are already go-tos for me, just a couple new ones. I did like the translucent powder. Right now, it's still staying matte. I'm still getting my sweat droplets above my lip and my chin, which I've had to powder a couple times, but it's extremely hot in my apartment right now, so I can't really blame that, but we'll see how it would wear throughout the day. And I think that was my only other new product. Oh, the putty primer too. I do like how this looks on my face. It's definitely decreasing the appearance of the pores. So overall, I really like how this look turned out. I'm really excited to use the other eyeshadows that I didn't use in this one, so that'll be a next video. And that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!